Good morning, guys, and welcome to day 2 of summer school. So, we are first going to work on C.1 of our Algebra 2 skills. Now, remember, guys, we only need to complete up to a 70%, okay? So, we have x is greater than 1. Whenever we have the symbol greater than or equal to or less than or equal to, this always means that the dot is filled in due to the equal sign. So this underlined part, that means equal to. And that fills in the dot because that means that that point is equal. Now, if it's greater than or less than, it's an open circle because that means that it hits all the points that are greater than or less than to the point except that point, okay? So, for example, x is greater than, cancel. For example, x is greater than 1. The reason we know that it is greater than or equal to 1 is because the x is being eaten by the inequality. Think of it as a mouth. The mouth is eating the x. We always want to eat the bigger number. So x is greater than or equal to 1. So therefore, we're going to first find the 1 on the number line. So we find the 1 on the number line. And we can click on the circle, and you can make it an open circle or a closed circle. So we click on the 1, and it's closed because it's equal to. And it's saying that x is greater than. So basically, x is bigger than 1. So what are all the values that are bigger than 1? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Those are all bigger than 1, and we can continue. Now, if I were to just click any random value, it's just going to draw a line, and it's not going to be continuous. So I got to click the line again to delete that, and I'm going to click on the 1 again. And I gotta click on the arrow all the way to the right so it fills it all in, okay? So I'm just going to do the next one. X is less than or equal to 3. It's gonna be a closed circle, and 3 is being eaten, so x is less than, so we're gonna go to the left. Okay, x is less than or equal to 2. It's gonna go that way. X is less than or equal to 9. Okay, I'm just trying to get to the harder problems. X is greater than or equal to -5. And x is greater than or equal to -3. Okay, so now we got problems like this one. So we got 2 is less than x is less than 4. Okay, so that means that the values are going to be between 2 and 4. So x is less than 4. So we know that we're going to have a point on 4, okay? And x is going to be less than it. It's going to be less than it. But we also know that 2 is less than x. Therefore, x is greater than 2. So we start at 2, and x is going to be greater than 2, so it's going to go to the right of 2, but then it's going to go to the left of 4. And they're both open circles, so this is how we graph this one. Wait. Cancel because the dot needs to be open. Okay? And this is the same kind of deal between 1 and 5. And they're both open circles. Okay, between 6 and 7, but one of them is filled in and one of them isn't. Between -6 and -2. and this one's filled, the negative 2 is filled in, negative 6 is opened. Okay, so now we got x is less than negative 2, and x is greater than or equal to negative 1. So, when we see the or, okay, so we got x is less than or equal to negative 2. So I'm going to click on negative 2, and I'm going to fill in x is less than or equal to negative 2. So I'm going to go to the left because it's less than. And I got x is greater than, so greater than negative 1, so it's to the right. Okay? When we see that or, it's typically the opposite direction. Okay? And now I've reached a 72. Okay? Let's just do this last one. We got x is greater than 4. So it's going to go to the right of 4, okay? And then we got 7, and x is less than 7. So now, you notice how and? So and would be the same thing. It would not be or. It wouldn't be the opposite direction. It would fill in the middle, okay? So now we're going to go to C2. So I'm going to write an inequality from the graph, okay? So this is just like the opposite of what we just did in C1. So we're going to write, remember, filled in. So filled in this and this mean a filled in dot. And this is an open circle. So we already know it's going to be this one for this problem, okay? And we know that x is something to 7. So if we look at 7, all the values of x are less than 7. So 6, 5, and 4 are less than 7. So less than means that the x is not being eaten. And it's also equal to 7. So we underline it, okay? So x is less than 7. Oops. And I forgot to include the equal sign, but I included it earlier if you guys notice. So see, like little mistakes like that we gotta watch out for. Okay? But, you know, same concept on this one. We got the 6 is less than, so it's a open circle. So 6 is smaller. Oh, sorry. We always start with x. Don't ever start with the number. We're going to start with the x, and we know that the x is less than, and it's open to the number 6. Okay? I just redeemed myself. But I'm going to move on to C3. Now, oops, sorry, we're not doing C3. We're doing C4. Okay, so C4, we are going to be solving these inequalities, okay? So solve for y, we have 4 times, so we're going to distribute the 4, okay? So 4 times y is 4y plus 4 times 2 is 8 minus 5 is less than negative 17, okay? So we are going to add the 8 and the negative 5. So 8 minus 5 is 3. So 4y plus 3 is less than negative 17. And we're going to subtract 3 on both sides. So we got 4y is less than negative 20. We're going to divide by 4. Now, if we divide by a negative, this sign would flip. But we are not dividing by negative, so we are left with y is less than negative 5.